Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Jacation Podcast. Today we'll be discussing one of our favorite parks, Zion National Park in southern Utah. Hi everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Jacob and this is my co-host slash co-star.
Hi, I'm Jane.
Good job, that was the best one so far.
You say that every time. I am constantly improving.
I know, but we're sitting here together this time, which is a little weird because
it is weird. Usually, when we record this, like I'm in my bedroom and Jacob's in his bedroom, and we just talk through we just wear earbuds and talk
through our mics on a Zoom meeting, which I mean, I'm still talking on a Zoom meeting, but
Yeah, but it's weird sitting here together. So we had to do the intro a couple times because we both kept laughing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just funny. And then even when he got it out there, I was like, had my head down and was shaking with laughter just because it's ridiculous that we're sitting here at this table. I know you would think that most people who do a podcast would sit next to each other, but for some reason we don't.
And we don't. And it's kind of weird that we're like talking to somebody else, but nobody else is here.
Yeah, it is weird.
So hi to the non-existent person. I'm just looking at a wall here.
I know. So he said we were going to start doing this so he could keep an eye on me.
That's right.
So anyway, we're here together at our kitchen table.
All right. So just a reminder, be sure to follow us on YouTube and Instagram at Jacation Travel, at Twitter at Jacation Adventure. Maybe I have those switched. I can never remember. And we are now on Facebook. So like our page on there. It's Jacation Travel on there. And as always, be sure to visit our blog for more articles and information and itineraries and all kinds of stuff. And that's www.jacation.club, not com, club.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
It is weird, but we're cheap and we like cheap domains.
That's true. So
share with your friends.
Yes.
So it's spring break.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, today's a school day, but
yeah,
I had a virtual day, but I was done early. So after my calculus test, it was like, all right, spring break.
Yeah.
So we're going to be taking a couple of trips.
Yeah, we're going to try. We in the past have gone to Omaha. That's about a 2.5 to 3 hour ish little jaunt up the road from here. And we do that. So Jacob and I, and then Jacob's little brother, and then my mom, we've done this a few times and we always have a good time. So we're going to do that next week during the week, next Wednesday to Thursday. So we'll be visiting the Henry Dorley Zoo in Omaha.
Yes, which we enjoy.
Yeah, which is very good zoo. It's just fun there. I don't know. We always have a good time. The other trip we are talking about, which we're just trying to figure out when we're going to do this, is to go to St. Louis, probably just for a day during the day. We have been to the Gateway Arch before, but now it's a national park. So we haven't been there since it's been.
And I have to get my park stamp.
Right. So there were not park stamps before.
Well, there were.
Oh.
It was a Jefferson Expansion Memorial, but now it's like the Gateway Arch National Park.
Yes. So we're doing that. We were planning on doing that tomorrow, but we had a conflict. So we may do that on Saturday, or we may do it next Friday. We're just trying to figure out. Anyway,
we're going to do it. We just don't know when.
Right.
So you can look forward to an episode on that.
Yeah. On both of our places, I guess.
Yes. We'll probably put it into one big spring break trip. So that's something to look forward to.
2 little mini trips.
That's right. Yeah. So shall we start? Let's start talking about Zion.
Okay.
we both loved
Zion is
this
amazingly
trip. So I
beautiful.
think we'd start out by describing it. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's in southern Utah and it's a very southwestern feel.
Hmm.
Um,
Jacob had an idea of how we would get in there, or the way that we would enter Zion would be dramatic,
yes,
this big dramatic thing. So, and we've seen places, it's like you've kind of seen places similar to it with all
Sedona
the,
was similar.
yes, Sedona's similar, just all the red rocks.
Huge canyon walls.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It
of
is.
different colors. It kind of like goes from an orange to like a white near the top of these
Yeah.
huge 1,000 feet tall formations.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really quite beautiful. So,
Right. So Jacob, tell us about how we got in there, because you were so
well,
psyched about this.
yeah, so I'll speak to the history real quick
All right.
because I have my recurring
Jacob
my
has to.
recurring history
Uh-huh.
segment. So in 1909, President Taft created the and I'm gonna screw this up. It's the Muckintooweep National Monument. You see that?
Oh yeah, I don't know how you would say that word.
I don't know, but so the National Monument,
Muckintooweep.
something like that,
Yes.
something along those lines. And then 8 years later, the NPS, the newly created National Park Service, the director of that suggested that they change the name to the much more catchy Zion,
Mm-hmm.
which is what Mormon settlers called it in the area. It's kind of like their word for heaven.
Yes.
And, it's pretty heavenly there.
Yeah, it's really, really nice.
And the Kolob Canyons area was part of a separate Zion National Monument, and that was incorporated into the national park in the 1950s, which is that weird park. If you look on a map, that kind of just sticks out from what, from everything else.
But
so
that part was actually closed when we were there, right?
That's right. We were going to go there to just that section at first, but our plans quickly changed, and then our southwest part of that trip got bigger. So
right. So that was this was our this was an extension of our last episode where we talked about the Colorado National Monument,
Bryce Canyon, Capitol Reef, and Grand Staircase.
Right. So on this same trip, we left all of those places and then headed to Zion.
And so leaving Bryce Canyon, we went directly to Zion. Mm-hmm. And that was our third national park of the day.
Yeah. So when we drove into Zion, we were just going to go just kind of drive through it and then go to our hotel. So you want to talk about the drive?
That's right. It? So you get on when you leave Bryce Canyon, you hang left and go to the end of Highway 24, which is a beautiful highway. You go through the Red Canyon, which over the road there, it's kind of like driving through these red rock mini little tunnel things that kind of just, you remember that?
No, actually I don't.
Oh, no.
That's yeah, I'm just gonna let you talk because I don't know what you're talking about, but that's me. I don't remember everything.
And then you go to the road's end and you go left, and Bryce Canyon and Zion are pretty close apart. Close to each other. Mm-hmm. And then you go to the Mount Carmel Junction, and you go right and on this road for a little bit. And as you get closer and closer, it seems like you get eased into a Zion-looking landscape.
Yeah.
You remember how it was kind of just like, oh, that looks like...
Yeah, what you would picture Zion to look like.
What we're going to see, which that was kind of interesting. So then you're going along, and then on either side are these white cliffs. They must have been at like a 45-degree angle. So you see the hanging sign for Zion National Park, and then there's the entrance station. and the road turns south for just a little bit, and in front of you is something called Checkerboard Mesa.
Oh yeah, that was really neat.
And it's on our Instagram page, and it's just this massive, really steep rock formation that's got all these cracks that almost make like squares, and that's why it's called Checkerboard Mesa.
Yeah.
Because it, looks like a chessboard or a checkers board. Really cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's like kind of a clear, definite border, like, okay, here you're going to see something really special. So you start meandering your way through this area, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
Just red rock and this white color that the Checkerboard Mesa is everywhere. It's a great drive. So, but I like to watch drive lapses. Mom hates them.
Oh, I get car sick, so
yeah. So I knew what was coming, and I was just so excited to actually see what was going to happen.
Oh yeah.
So we go through the first tunnel, which is just a little tunnel, and on the other side of that, the scenery gets a little more spectacular. Things are a little bigger. And I kind of don't remember it because I was anticipating.
Yeah, you were just like, oh my gosh, you guys, you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe what's coming.
And then so you enter the second tunnel. This tunnel's over a mile long.
Oh, yeah.
And so
it had those little windows in it, though.
Yeah, so you get like a quarter of a second and you look out and you just see like, oh my gosh, this is going to be great. And then you come out of this tunnel and Zion Canyon opens up and it's like, oh yes, this is awesome. Was I right about
you were. You were.
I mean, oh my gosh, you should have seen me. I was so excited.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that is a cool thing, like emerging from a tunnel to a view like that. I will say, I don't think it's as spectacular as the tunnel view at Yosemite, because that's crazy.
And we'll get there eventually.
Yeah. But it's still, it is just cool that you're just driving through this tunnel with, not knowing where you're gonna, unless you're a dork like Jacob and have watched all these.
That's right.
These drive lapses and you know what's going to happen. I'd rather be surprised. So,
I mean, it's one thing, of course, to watch it on video and one thing to actually see it in person, of course. But so you're still pretty high up when you come out of this tunnel. So you got to make your way down these switchbacks. And I mean, it's so beautiful.
Yeah. So you come out of this tunnel and you just you're just going down. So yeah, like Jacob says, you're basically winding to the canyon floor.
Yes.
But you really, I don't know. It's hard to tell that that's what you're really doing.
Yeah.
It's just very, and people were driving really slowly and there were pull-offs and stuff, which was awesome.
And we stopped at one of them.
Yeah. I remember stopping there
and the pull-offs, you can't really get a good view of the canyon.
Right. So you're going down into the canyon, but it's not like you can really tell, but I don't know.
Yeah. So the top view is when you're coming out of the tunnel is definitely great. And then you kind of go down and it's something called the Great Arch of Zion. It's not really an arch. It's just this giant hole that is in the rock and is shaped like an arch, but it's kind of cool to see. And I mean, oh my gosh, I was just.
Yeah, Jacob was like super like teared up and everything.
Oh yeah.
If you don't mind me telling everyone.
Well, that's fine. I don't really cry that much, but when I get into a national park, it's like I'm always bawling about something.
You are, but that's kind of awesome. Like I mean, you really appreciate it. So I'm not saying it to like make fun of you or anything. I'm saying that
again, I was a mess when we got to the floor in Yosemite. I was like, oh my God, I had to be alone. It was just a nasty.
That's okay. So
and touching a sequoia for the first time. That was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
lots of stuff to get to. But so you kind of make your way down, and it was like that was kind of like your build for the next day. It's like, guess what we're doing tomorrow? You get to spend your whole day exploring awesome
This awesome
this
canyon.
awesome park, and
Right.
it's going to be fantastic. So we headed to the cute little town of Springdale.
Yes. I will say this is one of the better, well, definitely of all of our national park trips. I think this is the best located town that we've actually stayed in.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
Moab is really good
well,
too.
yeah, Moab too, but just as of late, it seems like every time we stay somewhere, I'm always looking to save some money. So we usually end up staying a good 30 miles outside of something. And I mean, we'll get a really good place, but it's like we do drive in and out all the time.
It does
Well,
take some time. And in the case of Sequoia, I know we keep bringing it up. We should just call it a Sequoia episode too, or well, Sequoia and Yosemite. But it was like we were at the bottom of this mountain, and
right.
it takes forever to get up.
Right. So anyway, Springdale is like a nice town and it's right at
The border of
right
the park.
right at the entrance. So like um and this was another thing. We were just staying there 2 nights, so I didn't try to rent a cabin like we usually do, but so we did stay in a hotel.
Yep.
We stayed at the Hampton Inn in Springdale, which I would venture to say was one of the nicer Hamptons we've ever stayed.
Oh,
Mainly,
for sure. I think it's the best Hampton
it
Inn.
was really, really nice. And the thing about it was it had a pool. And when you're at, I mean, I guess a lot
An
of people,
outdoor pool.
yeah, an outdoor pool. That's kind of something for those hotels. And then you're just like among the red rocks when you're out at this pool. I mean, it was like a great little view. And we were what, a mile from the
Yeah, less
park
than a
entrance?
mile from the southern entrance to the park.
Yeah. So that was really, really, really good for us because we usually don't.
And a great way to cap off a busy 2 days.
We'd been going and going and going.
Yeah, so it was just, and Zion has a very just serene feel. So when you get there, you just feel like,
yeah,
like, okay.
yeah, it's very relaxing and very beautiful.
So
Did we even, was it, that wasn't even that night that we ate. I don't
no,
even
we'll
know.
talk about that once
I
we.
know. I always like tried to talk about where we ate, but I honestly don't remember that we even ate anywhere that night, did we?
No, we didn't. I think we always get a lot of snacks
Yeah, I
before
think we must have just had snacks that day, which is kind of different. But anyway, so we went to this hotel and then knowing that we were in the morning, we were, less than a mile from the park entrance.
And so when COVID hit, they suspended the shuttle service that goes into Zion Canyon. And during peak months, the summer months, they don't allow you to drive into Zion Canyon. You have to take one of these shuttles. Well, I think you can drive there if you're taking the going to the lodge if you're a guest there.
Yeah.
But so we were worried about this for a while because it was like at 4 a.m. or something, like people are lined up and it's like, oh gosh.
So we would be researching this and we'd read this. The park would open at 6, but people would start getting in line like at 4. And I mean, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a nightmare. Like, I want to do this. This is something I really want to do. And I don't have and it's not like, oh, I can't get up and be somewhere at 4. I certainly can. It's just the fact that
after the 2 days of
and just the fact that I'm on vacation and I don't want to have to just
true, yeah.
I just, there's lots of factors. It was really, really stressing me out. So then about probably probably a month before our trip, they announced we are having the shuttle service resume in Zion, but you have to have a reservation. It was like, oh, okay.
So we were up and we were ready to get that reservation when it opened up.
Right. So they did the National Parks Service
recreation.gov.
Right. Recreation.gov is where you can get any sort of reservations to stay in a park or to really to
Like the
just
wave in Arizona, you got to go
yeah,
through recreation.gov.
any sort of anything for a park, that's the app that you need to have. So
Mm-hmm.
we knew what day the reservations were opening for the state that we were going to be in
And we knew
Zion.
what time because
Right.
these were going to go fast.
Yeah. I don't, they didn't end up going as quickly as we thought,
Yeah.
but we were up and we were ready and had every, logged into our recreation.gov account, ready
Mm-hmm.
to buy the tickets.
That's right.
So we bought him, and I think we bought him at the Shuttle that was like, is it like 7:30 or
I
something?
think so.
Yeah. So we
So
were,
give us some time to,
yeah.
get up and.
I mean, we want to start early because it gets hot in Zion, but so we were able to get there. So we just drove like the mile and got to the park and just went
At the visitor center.
right. So you just went to the visitor center. You were right inside the door, basically, and then you just stood in line to get on these shuttle buses.
And I will mention that these weren't running while we were there because of COVID, but there is a shuttle system into Springdale itself.
Oh, right.
That is run by the National Park Service as well. That's free. So if you don't, I mean, you could park your car and there was a stop at our Hampton Inn,
Mm-hmm.
and we could have just ridden in and transferred and not had to worry about parking
Right.
or anything. So that's something to note and look into it if it's running.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll see when you're there that there's stops all along the road that you can
Right.
go with. So we got there and we were on time, and it took a little bit to get on the shuttle. They're trying to separate them out so people had time to disperse.
Yeah.
Before the next shuttle got there.
Right. But it worked out. It was great. We got on the bus. There were our family of 4. And so you have to kind of, there were different stops you could get off at, and you just had to kind of do a little bit of research and know what you wanted to do. And what we wanted to do was the iconic hike at
Angel's Landing. So there's and that's at the grotto. And the Narrows, which is the other popular hike, is at the Temple of Sinawava at the end of the road. This is kind of, I mean, I mentioned to you that I said this when we were on the shuttle. I'm getting like a weird Jurassic Park feel.
Yeah, being on those bus things.
Yeah, like being on the bus, like the car. And it's like you go and there's like an entrance station kind of at the beginning of the canyon road that takes you back to all these stops, and it was kind of like the big Jurassic Park doors. I mean, that's just of course another nerdy thing that I was thinking of. Like, I feel like we're going into Jurassic Park.
It was kind of that way, but we got in there and we decided, okay, we want to go to the Angel's Landing stop. Now, if anyone has seen Angel's Landing or knows anything about it, it's a very famous hike. It's also very scary and very dangerous.
Somebody died there just a few days ago.
Oh, really?
Fell off the
oh my goodness.
The chain section. The chain section was closed, however,
right.
when we were there, because it's hard to social distance on something that's only 3 to 6 feet wide.
Right. So if you know about Angel's Landing, there's this bit you hike up, and then when you get to like a certain high point, then there's this next part that's called the chain section. The chain section is there's like basically like a chain that you have to hold on to, or you could fall off either edge of it. So it's like a tall, narrow thing that goes straight out
into the canyon.
Then when you get to the end of it, you're up on this like platformy kind of like a landing, like where an angel would land. And that's all that, like the whole Mormon like Zion heaven thing, all that.
Yes.
And I'm not going to pretend to really know anything more about that, but I think that's where this came from. So the hike itself is amazing without doing the chains. And we can attest to that because
we're about to.
We did it. And it's simply awesome.
So we got off at the grotto. And, I kind of knew I mean, I could see the Angel's Landing monolith and I could see the trail all the way up. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, guys, there it is. And they were looking at me like, are you crazy?
Well, and it's funny because I'm always like, where are we going? Huh? Like I've seen the thing about, I know about what Angel's Landing is. I know about the chain section. I know about this, but then when you get there and you haven't watched all these videos like Jacob has, and
Looking at every single map there is. And
I'm just like, okay, yeah, I see that it's high from where we are because we are basically still on the floor of this valley. But, it's like, oh, well, whatever. And we really did go at a good time. We were there early. When we got off the bus.
We're the only people to get off on the bus on that stop at that stop. The next bus was very different. Everybody got off.
Right. So, and another thing about this being the limited amount of tickets with the reservation system. I mean, this hike, I can't imagine what it would be like in a full on.
Oh gosh, yes.
It would just be insane. So I'm really glad that we did this at a time where it wasn't, it wasn't horribly busy. And anyway, so we started up, you go, and there's just like there's a lot of switchbacks going up, like an initial ascent. You're like halfway up and you then you go on to another, like a different rock, essentially.
Yeah. So, you start off and you cross the Virgin River, which had some chemical, I don't remember what, but it was like, they don't want you touching it.
I don't think it was a chemical. I think it was some sort of like, well, I don't even know what the word for it would be. I was going to say like cryptosporidium or something like that. I don't know.
I think it was a crypto something.
But yeah. So not really but
they don't want
a bacteria.
Yeah. They don't want you touching the river.
Right.
And they don't want you drinking from it. Obviously, they don't want you touching it. Right. And we have, Dad loves to touch the water. So we had to tell him
not to touch that water.
No, don't touch that.
No. So
you start making your way up and it's paved.
Yeah, it is.
For this part. So you start, and it's kind of steep.
Yeah, it was.
Ben and I kind of went ahead.
Yeah.
And we were making our way up, and we stopped and every once in a while and took some pictures and
waited for us a little bit.
Yeah. Then we got sick of that, so we just kept on
So
going.
my husband and I were taking a little bit longer, but anyway, it was an enjoyable first section. Then I don't know. So you're just going up, and it is paved. I mean, almost like a sidewalk kind of, or like, like a street.
Yeah.
Pavement with like.
No, it's not wheelchair accessible. I wouldn't. I mean,
well,
if you're crazy and strong, but
yeah, it would be kind of a big deal. But anyway,
I can't speak to that. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a wide area, fairly wide. It had bricks kind of up on the side a little bit, so it
was a clear path.
There was a clear big path, but it's just built into the side of the thing, and they've built a little wall like to your right the whole time. Or I guess not the whole time, but anyway.
The canyon side where the drop off is.
A little wall, so it kind of blends in with the rocks. So when you're standing at the base of it and you're looking up, you don't really realize what you're looking at, but you're basically looking at all these switchbacks.
So you kind of get to where you're starting to hug the wall of the canyon. Like in the first section, you're kind of just making your way up towards the wall.
Yeah, I guess so.
And then you kind of go into it, and that's where it kind of gets steeper.
Yeah.
And we could see this. There's like a little crevice from the bottom that we could see, like, oh, there's some people up there. Like that's where we're headed.
Yeah. And then so like about halfway up, then you it's like you almost switch over into this other rock section, so you're kind of on this flat for a while.
Yes, there's this I mean, it's not really a slot canyon. I mean, it's not that narrow,
No,
but
but
there's like trees in there.
trees, and it was nice and cool.
It was cool in there.
It
The
was a
sun
nice little
wasn't,
break.
yeah, the sun wasn't quite up yet, and you had to be quiet because I think there was a rare type of
Oh,
owl.
right. There were all these signs about how you needed to be quiet in this area because, or no, was it a bat or was it?
No, it was not a bat.
Oh yeah, you
I
would have
didn't
freaked
have a
out.
heart attack.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Jacob hates bats. So maybe it was an owl. But yeah, they did have all these signs about how you needed to just, speak quietly in this canyon.
Not to disturb, and I think they were like nocturnal owls or
Yeah.
something, so they would be sleeping.
Are all now owls nocturnal?
Maybe these were. I don't know.
I think they all are.
Oh, are they?
I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I guess they are.
Have you ever
aren't they?
seen an owl just flying around in the middle of the day?
I'm not that I can remember.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Well, thanks.
You are welcome.
I need a little help with that, I guess.
Yeah. Good thing we're going to the zoo this coming week. Maybe a little
That's
more
right.
great animal facts.
Owls are nocturnal. What?
I know. I'm like, I don't. Yeah.
We can go
Anyway.
on the swamp exhibit.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, there was that, and then it started to get a little
And then you start going up again.
up, and this was some crazy ups.
So this section is called Walter's Wiggles.
Okay, and I didn't realize this until, I went up this Walter's Wiggles, I came down this Walter's Wiggles. I never heard the term Walter's Wiggles.
That they actually have a real name.
Until I don't know, maybe a month ago on Instagram, I saw a picture of that, and the person said something about Walter's Wiggles, and I was just like, what? Anyway.
And then you showed it to me, and I'm like, yeah.
I'm like, is this what we did? Jacob said, yes. And I thought, oh my gosh, I had no idea that's.
So it's like 23 little switchbacks, but it's not like there's long stretches between the switchbacks. It's just like 10 feet of incline, and then you switch and go the other way.
Yeah.
And the other way. And there's like 22 or 23
I don't
of
know.
them.
That's just kind of where it started to get a little bit rough for me. I mean,
yeah,
it was steep.
It was steep.
And it's like so it's not, the grade is ridiculous because like every layer of switchback is like over your head.
Well, it's not that steep, but
the next one up is at least, around 5 to 6 feet higher than the next one, I think.
Probably, yeah.
So anyway, it was, if a person gets like 3 switchbacks ahead of you, they're like 15 to 20 feet above your head.
Yeah.
It was just, but okay. And this is where Jacob and his brother Ben went on ahead.
Yeah. So we were at the top, and we were kind of just looking around. A spectacular view.
Mm-hmm.
Not in as far as the canyon as Angel's Landing, the actual endpoint of the trail is, but it was really pretty up there.
Yeah. So,
and we were taking pictures by the trail closed sign, and
yeah, they got up there, and I guess they were up there for so long waiting for me and their dad that they just figured that we had gotten tired and we turned around. So
because that had happened the day before.
In Canyon or in
Capitol Reef,
that did happen. But we told you, I think. But anyway, so they were just like, so then we're coming up there, and we're coming. It's taking us a while, but we're getting there.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden we're like, here come the kids down the thing. And we're
down
like,
Walter's Wiggles.
We're like, what are you doing? And
we get to the bottom, and it's like, we thought you guys just stopped, and we're like, no, we're coming up, and we're like, oh, okay. So they're like, well, you can come back up with us. So I can Ben and I can
all the way at the. We weren't all the way at the.
Yeah, you were.
Okay.
And so I can say that I've gone up Walter's Wiggles 4 times now.
Okay. See, I didn't think it was that bad, but anyway, they're like, well, you're almost there, but you guys had to count for how many more switchbacks.
Yeah, because we were going to count on the way down how many switchbacks there were. I think it was 42, all the way, counting the other ones at the bottom section.
Oh, okay. So I guess we were way farther down. But anyway, they came down to find
you
us.
were in that little canyon area just
okay.
before the Wiggles. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, they came to find us, and then we were like, well, we're still going up there. So they went back up there, which
Yeah.
was funny. And they beat us again, but
It
that's okay.
was. And you took those funny pictures by the like you were sad that the chain section was closed.
So then we get to the top of these Wiggles, and then you're at this just kind of big open rock area.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little plateau kind of thing.
So we walked over to where you could actually start the chain section. And then I was like, oh, take a picture of me, like hold it like by the sign that says trail closed. I'm gonna make a sad face. Like, I'm really sad that this was closed. No, I wasn't sad. I mean, I feel like, although, I mean, I guess I would sort of say I've hiked Angel's Landing. I guess that's an untruth because I didn't make it all the way up there, but only because it was closed.
Yeah, through no fault of our own.
Right. So anyway, I need to talk about this little flat section because we were going to eat some of our snacks. And let me just say that there were these little critters. Like
I'm going to rant. Oh,
these
man.
little bitty like chipmunk things. And they were everywhere. So, and the reason they're everywhere is that people are feeding them.
Stop. Don't be stupid.
So Jacob hates this. I mean, I'm not a fan, but I'm just like, whatever. So these little critters are going around and people are like, oh, look how cute, and giving them this food. So they have zero fear. So.
And they will get aggressive because when you feed these animals, they are pretty much not wild anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So they will get aggressive with you when you feed them. So don't feed them.
Right. So let me just say, I'm not going to feed them, nor am I even going to sit down here because I see what every time somebody sits down to eat, that there's these little critters that crawl all over them. So my husband sits down and he like puts his backpack down and the second he does that, these little things are like swarming.
Little squirrel chipmunk.
Yeah,
thingies.
they're like all up on his backpack, all trying to, and I was just like, "Aah!" And then he sits down and he's like sitting like Indian style on the thing, and he starts to eat, and then they're like on him, they're like on his lap, and they're crawling around.
I missed this. This must have been so Ben and I went up higher.
Yeah, they went on a farther up hike that wasn't
along the West Rim Trail.
Yeah, they went up
to a higher view. Yeah.
So they're like sitting there, and there is actual like rodents on him, and he's like, oh, and I'm just going, get off you.
Yeah, I think I heard you from the.
You probably did. I did take a video of it, but it wasn't like once I started recording it, it didn't do as much. Like it kind of got down and was like under his legs and stuff. But there was a point where there were like two of them on his lap, like crawling all over his legs. And I was just like, gross.
Yeah.
So, and then I had set my backpack down, and then they, you've got like a little tiny bit open, and they're like all in there. And I'm thinking, if one of those things ends up in there, I'm going to die. And here I am high up on this rock, and I don't want to get flapping around.
Oh, and there's no guardrail or things at the edge.
So if something would have freaked me out so bad, I could have fallen off.
Yeah. So
anyway.
Yeah, it was
weird, but it was
up there. So beautiful.
So beautiful. And I took, I have this picture that I absolutely love of me and you and Ben that we got just this awesome picture of me and the kids up there. I love it so much.
Yeah.
It's one of those pictures that I don't know, it's to me it's amazing, but it has like the rays of sunlight where you kind of need a little filter or whatever, but it just I don't know, it's beautiful
and it was a very Instagram moment because I had seen so many pictures of this place, and now I was seeing where those pictures were taken.
Yeah. And
it was just like, oh my gosh, it's hard to believe that you were actually there. So then we started to go down. And by the way, the upper view was really cool.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't as busy. So a
Yeah,
lot
they
of
went
people
up
just turn around.
higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we sat down there and ate with those little critters.
Uh-huh.
Then the boys went up higher to this other section. And so they could like see down where we were
Uh-huh.
just sitting on that rock. But then, so I don't know, we stayed up there maybe 20 or 30 minutes. I don't know.
Probably just kind
I
of took it
mean,
in and relaxed a little bit.
yeah, that doesn't seem like a long time, but once you get up there, and then it is by this point it is starting to get a little warm.
Yeah, so we decided to go back down and then back into that canyon.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more people
Yeah, there
coming
were.
up.
We were glad that we had gotten one of those early reservations. And probably because about this time, it's probably about, I mean, if we got on the bus at 7:30, it's probably like 10:30 or 11 when we're coming down. What do you say?
Maybe, yeah, probably around 10-ish, yeah.
10, yeah,
10,
probably.
10:30, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, because it took quite a while for us to get up just even as far as we were.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how long is that chain section from where we were? I mean, like
Maybe a quarter of a mile.
okay, so not that much distance wise, not that much, but just a lot more
Mentally more.
It would be really kind of scary, especially if you're afraid of heights or if you're like, I'm not so much afraid of heights, I just have really bad footing. Like I would have stressed myself
It's
out.
a dangerous hike, but very few of the amount of people that go up there.
Yeah.
You're not going to die. I mean,
no, that's true. Like I have seen videos of people up there and I was like, okay, there's people that appear to be in worse shape than I am that have done this.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed to, but that was okay. I mean, I feel like that we really got a really good experience of what, we really got to see Zion from up there. And then when you're up there, you can just see all the way down the canyon. It's amazing. So back down we went.
And here's something weird. You and I don't really like downhill.
I don't.
We like uphill better.
It's funny because like they're both challenging and hard to me. Downhill really is hard on my knees.
Yeah.
Like I know the uphill is harder getting up there, but the downhill just, oh my goodness, it kills my knees.
Yeah, I don't like downhill. Well, when I'm running, it's fine.
Yeah.
Uphill sucks when I'm running, but
yeah,
when I'm hiking, uphill I prefer.
Yeah. So we back down, we sat down at the bottom near that river and had some snacks and stuff. And
yeah, that's right. We just kind of sat, and that was one of the most scenic lunches we've ever had.
Yeah, it was really nice down there.
I don't think the squirrels bothered us down there.
And
oh, do you remember how much recycling bin picked up? Here's another thing. Okay, don't feed the squirrels and pick up your trash.
And there were lots of, we usually when we travel, we will bring, my husband and I both have bladder backpacks. And then, but then we'll bring more water in it. So then once you dump all your water into the bladder, then you've got all these empty bottles. Well, a lot of those were our bottles, but I think we did end up.
But yeah, we weren't leaving them there. We pack them out, and Ben went around, probably picked up like 15 water bottles.
I have a picture of Ben like standing there in this beautiful place, like holding, he has his
people's
arms
trash
out holding people's trash. But we've talked about this before. One good thing about, there's lots of good things about the national parks, but their recycling program is amazing.
It sure is. Yeah.
We just walked on over, Ben especially, and just dropped all these plastic bottles into the recycling bin. So we picked up for others. But so we went back. Did we go to another stop? Or
we did. So we went to the Emerald Pools.
Right.
And this was another cool place that I wanted to go to. I hope you can't hear that. I apologize if you can.
It's our refrigerator.
So I think we had to go a couple more. I think it was at the Zion Lodge.
Okay.
Stop. And we got on there and then went to the Emerald Pools, which is like this weird, like, well, it's a pool
Yeah.
of water. It's just like kind of along the canyon side, and there's like a waterfall that kind of flows into it
Mm-hmm.
and drops from above. And that was a rather short
That was just a
hike.
little short hike.
And we went to, unfortunately, the upper Emerald Pool was closed, so we could only go to the lower.
Right.
And you've got this rock that's kind of hanging above you, and to the right there's this
Almost like a
pool
little
of water.
cave.
Yeah, kind of. And
Mhm.
there's this beautiful little waterfall.
Yeah.
I mean, don't expect Niagara Falls.
No, it was just a small little deal, but that was just another
It was really pretty.
nice little stop. And it was kind of shady on the way to get there.
And
We
you can get a little wet and it kind of cools you down.
Yeah,
So that's a good.
That was a nice little place.
It sure was.
And then, okay, so then we rode back. Jacob, you're gonna have to keep talking while I try to find this picture. But we were on this. We were on this tour bus and
The shuttle bus.
and we're headed back. And now I can't remember. I was gonna look this up earlier and see what the thing said. But the driver of the bus. Now remember, this is pretty heavy COVID times. Had like the shower curtain wrapped around their, like, so the bus driver's
wrapped around
there.
the driver.
Yeah, there was like a shower curtain wrapped around the driver. And now I'm trying to find a picture that I took of it because I was just like, oh, I need a sign like that. It was really funny.
Well, so anyway,
yeah, we're headed back to, Jacob can talk about how
So
we're
we're
headed back to
driving
the visitor center.
back to the visitor center, and we hadn't gone in there yet. We were just kind of like get on the shuttle and go. So it didn't take very long. The shuttle was quick.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here it is. So the person had like this shower curtain around them and it said, unnecessary conversation with operator is prohibited by law. And I just laughed because I was taking that and then that picture, and then I sent it to my friends and I was like, hey, I need one of these in my car. And like, just for when I get annoyed and then don't talk to me while I'm driving. So funny. So, oh, and here's also the picture of me making the sad face at the trail's closed.
Oh, yeah.
We might have to post that somewhere. It's funny. I look so upset.
You do.
But if you know me, you'll know that I'm really not. I'm like, thank goodness.
Yeah, I'm never planning to go up there in the first place.
Going up there anyway.
So we get in the visitor center, and this is a nice little visitor center. I thought it was,
but I don't think I bought anything there.
It was very pretty. I did. I got the poster of the Watchman, which we'll talk about that a little later because that's a awesome thing. And and I got my park stamp.
Oh yeah.
Which was very exciting. And the visitors, I always like to read the stuff about the visitor centers because they usually use materials from the area, and they're also like super green and conserve energy. So I was reading something about the angle of the roof is like meant to go with the angle of the sun in the winter and summer, and it was just like,
oh wow,
to just like conserve energy. It was really quite interesting. Just more nerdy stuff for me to love.
And usually I like to shop, and I don't remember.
Well, because it was really busy in there. It was
it was, and it was one of those one in, one out situations, which is fine. I mean, but I just that always makes me feel a little bit rushed. So, yeah, but that's okay. So I think after that, we went out and went back into the town because we were gonna
take a little break, just because we were tired and we had not eaten like
we had not eaten
food since Bojo's and
oh my gosh,
Evergreen.
Seriously?
Yeah, that was the last time.
Okay.
We had not eaten a peanut butter sandwich.
We've talked about how we always bring peanut butter and stuff like that. And I'm usually okay with I could snack all the time and be happy.
Me too.
Jacob could too. And my husband kind of could sometimes, but Ben
Ben was not
Ben is
thrilled
like,
with this whole
he
idea.
hates it. So when we got back into town, we were like kind of talking about, should we just go and get like some regular food? And Ben's like, yes.
Yes.
What do you want? I don't care.
And he said, yeah, he
Just-
was ready to kill us.
Yeah.
I mean, we were looking more appetizing by the minute.
Yeah, and Ben's also not like, he likes to, I mean, he always has a good time, but he's like not, he will complain.
We
like,
drag him along.
We do. And God love him, that kid. He's a trooper, and he rocked the whole day. I mean,
he did awesome.
He did awesome. But when we got down from there,
and we did have fun.
Yeah, you and Ben had a great time. But when we got back down to the town, he was like,
he was like, oh, well, should we go out and eat something? Yes.
Yeah, you couldn't even. So I think we went one place and it was closed or busy or something.
It was the Zion pizza and noodle or something.
Yeah, so Jacob loves pizza, Ben loves noodles. So we found this place, Zion Pizza and Noodle, and we're like, oh, that sounds perfect. And then we got there and it was closed. So then we picked this other place. I always use TripAdvisor, the TripAdvisor app, and then Near Me Now.
Mm-hmm.
We have found some super.
It's never failed us.
No, I don't really think that it has. But so we saw this place, and it was called Oscars, and it was just like they had
a different variety of things.
It was like Mexican food and burgers and just what. So we pulled into there and we went in, and this was. I don't know if it was the greatest place, but we were so hungry that it didn't matter.
And it was pretty hot by this point, but they had like fans going and like mist because it was just
kind of an outdoor restaurant.
Yeah, where we sat, we were outdoors just because it was so nice. But
yeah, but anyway, so we got, I don't know. I feel like I had a burger there. And Ben got a burger. Did you guys get Mexican food?
I got like an enchilada.
Yeah. So anyway, we were very happy with this place. And I think you are right. We hadn't eaten in a restaurant since
which was 2 days ago.
48 hours or something, which is kind of unheard of for us. But
on vacation, that is.
Yes. Sometimes not on vacation. But anyway, it was really good. And it was really close there to our hotel.
It was.
And then when we got finished, I think
we went back to the hotel.
Well, you and I took a little walk.
That's right. Well, we dropped them off, I think.
Or they took the car. They took the car.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. Hotel. And all of this is within a mile of each other.
All along this main road. Yeah.
Right. So Jacob and I decided to do a little like shopping. Just like, oh, maybe we'll see something cool. We'll go into some of these little stores, and we went to like a grocery store that had some little, but again, I didn't buy anything, which is very odd for me.
That is weird.
Yeah. So we went back, then that was the afternoon, we went swimming at the hotel pool, which was nice.
Yeah.
And then that night we decided we would go back into the park.
That's right. So I picked out this
flat trail.
This flat paved trail, and I really wanted to see it because it has this, I don't know why I love this rock formation, this big rock mountain so much, but it's called the Watchman.
It is amazing.
And it's just like, I don't know why, but I just love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. So, and it starts at the Park Visitor Center. Flat along the valley again, like no elevation change. And I'm like, well, this will be good. And we'll just kind of it's an out and back trail.
Yeah. So it's just more like of a walk than a hike.
Yeah, really. It's like, do you want to, if I lived in Springdale, you and I like to walk, we walk all the time.
Right.
We would have annual passes.
Yeah.
And go in here all the time because it's just great. So you just kind of hike along the Virgin River. And so the Watchman is just like this, I don't even know how you would describe it. It's just this awesome giant monolith that kind of just points, like comes to a point.
Yeah. It just kind of and I think it's called the Watchman because it's like this, almost like
it kind of sticks out from the rest of the canyon
and
wall.
It's like almost like a 3-pointed I don't know. To me, it looks like it has like 3 points. Like these people are watchmen and they're watching over the entire canyon.
Exactly. And it's like at the end of Zion Canyon.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. And we hiked like a mile and a half out.
Yeah.
And this was the first day that you got
Yeah,
30,000
this
steps.
was the first time I've had a Fitbit for a long time, but I got over 30,000 steps a day, which is quite a lot for me or
Yeah.
anyone, I guess. I don't know. I mean, if you probably not anyone, but anyway. I mean, I usually try to get around 10. So if I do 3 times that in one day, that's just kind of a big deal for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was a nice way to end the evening. By this time,
And it was magic hour. Like any photograph you take looks
Yeah.
fantastic.
so the sun, I mean, it's still daylight out, but the sun's kind of like gone beyond. I mean, you're down in the canyon, so the sun is like not really visible
Mhm.
as, but I mean, but it's still, there's light. So it was really, that was just a nice way to end. That trail is really nice. I don't know if we can pronounce it. It's like
Parus, P-A apostrophe. Oh, I've
R
got it
U
on my
or
script
A
here.
R U S Paris or something.
P-A apostrophe R-U-S.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Paris, I don't know.
Parus or something like
Yeah.
that.
So, and that was just a nice way to end the day. There were lots of people biking. We saw some like deer things,
Yeah.
deer of some sort. Um, yeah, we just kind of walked along there and yeah,
It was
just had
great.
a nice quiet, cooled down evening after we had some swimming and food and all that. So
Yeah.
just
So
a good day.
overall, what did you think of Zion?
Oh, it's amazing. I know there's a lot more to do. That other big hike though is the Narrows, and that's where you're like hiking in water, and that sounds like a lot of work. I mean, I'm sure it's super cool.
And outfitters will rent you the stuff that
Yeah.
you need for that.
Yeah. So
There's the Kolob Canyons area.
uh,
There's the area that we just drove through. There's the the canyon viewpoint that's just before the second tunnel, the long one that you can hike to and get a very good view of the canyon.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy with what we did. I mean, yes, we could have stayed there longer, but I feel like I mean, I know, we talked about Bryce and how it was small, and I feel like we saw a lot of Bryce.
It was a good
Reef.
overview.
Yeah, like this was like, okay, I feel like I saw a lot more of Zion than some of the other, like the day before when we just kind of cruised through a couple parks. But yeah, I feel like, yes, Zion was beautiful. I'd love to go back there. It was a really good day.
Yeah, for me, it was kind of like a scouting trip.
Yeah.
To just see these places and get a good idea of, when you come back in the future. I love Zion, and it is probably, if I were to rank the national parks, it would most definitely be in my top 5 and probably break top 3.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
2 or 3 because Yellowstone's my favorite. But
yeah, I'm just kind of I am definitely a big fan of the desert Southwest.
Yes.
That's the kind of, I don't know.
It's weird and awesome.
I just think it's super cool there. And plus, I kind of like that. I like that dry heat. I don't like humidity. And I just think it's beautiful. Just the red rocks. Like I've said before, Sedona is one of my favorite places. And Zion's very similar to that. So yeah, I like it. I'm glad we went.
Yeah, so do I. It was a great day. And then from here we would go to Lake Mead and what's that place? Oh my gosh, I'm to Valley of Fire and Vegas and Death Valley and then Sequoia and Yosemite. So that's what we'll be talking about soon.
That's where we eventually went after this. But yeah, Zion was definitely a highlight of this trip. I think.
Sure was.
Yeah.
I liked it better than Yosemite, I think.
I kind of think so too, which is so well, I mean, we'll talk about this another time too. We always say that. We'll talk about this another time. And I think we do pick up on that kind of stuff, but Zion, um yeah, it's I feel it's accessible too. I mean, it's not
A couple hours from Vegas. Doesn't
no,
take
well,
too.
I don't mean it like that. I mean, like you can see stuff. You don't have to hike into some crazy backcountry to see.
Oh, I see.
I mean, I'm just like I've talked about this before with like Yellowstone. Like I feel it's accessible. Like, okay, there's things that you can see and they're right along the road. I mean, Zion was there was definite hiking there, but it wasn't like
for the casual visitor.
And I am a kind of like casual visitor and I could do it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the most in shape person. I push myself when we're on these trips but I'm glad I do these things. But it's not, I mean, but like I said, we got dropped off right at the foot of this thing. It's not like you have to, backcountry for 3 days to get to something. You're basically dropped off right there, get out, go up, come back down, get back, So yeah, I think it's a good place to visit. I feel like I saw a lot of it. I feel like I got a feel for it. Yeah.
And we know we want to go back.
Yeah, definitely. And I like Springdale. It's just it's like a cute little town. Yeah, and I got some of my favorite beer there, which is exciting. Which is weird. If you've ever been to Utah, they have very odd liquor laws there, but there is this a brewery in Moab that we had been to years ago, and there's this beer there called Rocket Bike, and I had brought some back last time, and then in a gas station in Springdale, I found it again. So yay, Rocket Bike.
Well, with that.
Sorry, that was just me. Jacob doesn't drink beer.
Yeah, I do not. That's for sure. So thanks for watching. Listening.
Yeah.
How many times have I done that?
I know, a lot. It's okay.
So this is episode 5. Be sure to share with your friends, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and our blog, and rate us on Apple Podcasts. And thank you all again.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll see you
in a couple weeks.
Yeah, for our spring break stuff.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yay. Bye guys.
See ya.